what you're worth. Now go out and get what you're worth.
I'm gonna show you how great I am.
Welcome to the Steel City. Is everybody ready to go? Let's proclaim the greatest radio show. Jim Cella and Johnny Parlay with the facts. So relax, grab a drink, then let's get back.
Hello, Pittsburgh. I am Jim Cella, and you are listening to The Spread. I am sitting here with my boy JDash. How you doing today?
All right, man. Ready to go.
Ready to go. I think those Buccos might have just pulled ahead 3-2. That's a big game.
That's what you were saying, man. Big win. If they can win tomorrow, I think Milwaukee's done and the Pirates are in.
Yeah, that's kind of the worst thing that I ever really want to hear is the Pirates are in the playoffs because I revel in their misery.
Get used to it.
Well, we get used to it for this year, but we'll see about next year. But enough about that. We're here to talk about some games and some of these lines. What are you thinking?
Well, let's start with your favorite pick of the week.
Pick of the week, Buffalo over San Diego.
Yeah, Buffalo minus 2.5. You like that, huh?
All day, man. San Diego's got to travel all the way across the country. That takes a lot out of a team.
Yeah, 1 o'clock game time. San Diego is 1-1 with a big win over Seattle last week, so they might be setting themselves up for a letdown.
Yeah, that's definitely an emotional high they're going to be riding after beating Seattle last week. Seattle hasn't lost a game in a long time. That early start time traveling across the country, and Buffalo's a good team, man. They're not great.
Yeah, listen, Buffalo's fifth against the run, and San Diego has 0 run game.
Yeah.
So they're going to be passing all game, and I do not trust Phillip Rivers to win this game.
He'll turn the ball over, man. He takes some chances. Sometimes they pay off, sometimes they don't. He's definitely a gunslinger mentality at quarterback. And with Keith Rivers, he's doubtful. He may play for Buffalo. I think if he plays, he could be the difference maker. I think he could take a Phillip Rivers pick and turn that into a big play.
Yeah, and Antonio Gates is still a great receiver out there. He had a huge week last week, but maybe their second best receiver, I would say, is Keenan Allen, and he's questionable, and it looks like he may not play.
Allen had, what you would call a big game against Richard Sherman. I mean, you catch a couple passes against Richard Sherman, that's a pretty good game.
Any other day it wouldn't have been a big game, but for going up against Richard Sherman, definitely a well-played game by Keenan Allen.
Yeah, he at least laid out a game plan for Buffalo to try to take advantage of, some quick hitches, some quick screens. You're not going to run right past Richard Sherman, but if you can get the ball in the hands of your receiver real quick, he might be able to run around Richard Sherman.
Yeah, if Keenan Allen plays, Buffalo's 28th against the pass, so I could definitely see Gates and Allen taking care of business, but I just think Phillip Rivers is going to turn the ball over once or twice, and Buffalo's coming off a big blowout win versus Miami last week at home. And they're 2-0 now, riding high. I think they did do this last year. They might have started out 4-0 or something. Maybe that was 2 years ago. But I think they're going to be 3-0.
Yeah, it's definitely a possibility, man. And then, what, did New England lose a game already?
New England did
Yeah, they
lose a
lost
game,
to Miami.
yes.
So if Buffalo goes 3-0 here, they're leading the division. Who would have thought after 3 weeks that they would be in the lead?
Yeah, we've seen this from them before, actually, and I don't think they're going to finish the season at the top of the division. But listen, 2.5 at home, San Diego traveling across country, 1 o'clock game time. Take Buffalo in this game.
Take Buffalo, yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Then what do we have? We have Washington at Philly, a division game. Philly is minus 6.5.
That's a lot of points for a division game, man.
Yeah, it is. But you know what? Philly's offense looks as good as advertised.
Yeah, and Washington has a good defense, but with no RG3, what's their offense going to do?
And Philly's defense doesn't look too bad either, man.
Yeah, I think Kirk Cousins might have a chance. He's played slightly well. I think he has as many picks as he does interceptions in his career. He showed flashes and put good games together, but I think the Chip Kelly offense might be a little bit too much for Washington's defense.
Yeah, look, this is Washington's second road game, and they only put up 6 points at Houston, and I think Philly is just as good as Houston on the defensive side. I know Houston was good 2 years ago, but I think right now they're pretty close.
Yeah, and not only is RG3 out for Washington, but Deshaun Jackson is questionable. If he doesn't play, Washington has no deep threat, so then Philly can really clamp down on the running game and Alfred Morris. And if that happens, I just don't see Cousins being able to beat them.
Yeah, and Philly's offense is flying high, 30 points or more in both games this season. I think they're going to do it again, and I don't think Washington is going to be able to keep up.
And all those picks they gave away to get RG3, it's really starting to show up now, in the depth chart that they're definitely struggling to find players that can actually play the game.
And I think Darren Sproles could be the difference maker on the offensive side for Philly, so I'm going to keep him on my bench in fantasy.
Your fantasy team's garbage. I definitely think Philadelphia's going to win this game. They're probably going to win this game by 10 points, if you ask me.
At least. You've got to take Philly minus 6.5 here.
Yeah, definitely. You might even want to take the over in this game. Take a parlay. Philly in the over.
Well, if you're going to do that, just tease it.
You don't need to tease it.
You think 50.5? I don't know if Washington's going to score with Kirk Cousins, man.
I don't know. Philadelphia will put up 50 points themselves. Atlanta scored 56. Bet the over. Johnny Parlay says always take the over.
He says always take the over, but it went 6-8 last week or something. That ain't happening for me. I'm not always taking the over. I'm going to stick with just Philly here, minus 6.5. Take it straight up.
All right. What about New Orleans and Minnesota? We all know about the whole Adrian Peterson thing. We already covered that. We're not going to delve into that very much. He's not playing in this game. He's probably not playing again this season, and he'll probably never play again for Minnesota.
I can't believe I'm even hearing that. That's crazy that Adrian Peterson may never play for Minnesota again. How are those fans feeling? And then, instead of putting in their best running back, Jerick McKinnon, they're playing, Asiata?
Yeah, some dude I never even heard of. I tried to do research on him, and it took me like 20 minutes to figure out who this guy even was.
Yeah, Minnesota had a blowout win the first week of the season against the Rams, but the Rams look like garbage too. And Minnesota was blown out last week. I think they're playing in blowout games. If one team's going to blow out the other here, it's going to be New Orleans blowing out Minnesota.
Oh, yeah, especially down in the Superdome, on their turf in their hometown. New Orleans always plays big. They always put up a lot of points. Matt Castle is just awful. What are they, 31st, I think, or something, Minnesota's offensive pass rank?
I wouldn't be surprised if they're 33rd.
Yeah, I mean, it's really that bad down there.
And
Cordell
plus
Patterson is their only threat at wide receiver.
And he's questionable, and so is Kyle Rudolph. You can't forget about Kyle Rudolph,
I forgot about that
He's
guy.
a decent receiver.
Yeah, Rudolph's good.
And plus, New Orleans' defense looks terrible, but Matt Castle, I don't think it does matter.
It doesn't. I mean, Minnesota might put up 20 points, but New Orleans is going to put up 50. So that's all that really matters in this game.
Yeah, you can look on the outside and say New Orleans is 0-2, but it's 2 road losses.
And they're
coming
outside.
home now.
New Orleans always struggles away and outside.
Mark Ingram's out, but they still got Pierre Thomas. He's always been a solid back.
When was the last time these guys played? 2011?
2011.
New Orleans won by 22.
22, and that was at Minnesota.
Yeah.
So
this game, to me,
again, take the home team and take the favorite.
Other than my pick of the week, Buffalo, I think this is the biggest lock of the week.
Yeah, minus 10, they're trying to scare you away with that. If it was minus 9.5, people would be all over it, and people get scared away from the double digits in the pros. New Orleans minus 10, take it all day.
Believe it.
And then, what do we have here? One of your favorite games of the week.
Super Bowl rematch, right? Denver-Seattle.
Yes, it is.
There's only been 6 other times that a Super Bowl team has had a rematch the next year. KC and Minnesota in 1970. Kansas City won the Super Bowl, but then Minnesota won the rematch. Oakland and Minnesota did it in 77. Oakland won the Super Bowl, and then Oakland also won the rematch. You had Dallas and the Steelers in 79. We all know the Steelers won that Super Bowl, and of course they won the rematch because Dallas Cowboys are garbage and Pittsburgh Steelers are awesome. Are. Bills and Dallas in 93. Dallas won the Super Bowl, and then the Bills won the rematch, but then they rematched again the next year in 94 in the Super Bowl, and we all know how that worked out for the Bills. They just couldn't ever win a Super Bowl. I don't think that team's ever going to win one. They're cursed.
Yeah, well, listen, don't look at last year's Super Bowl. I know Seattle blew Denver out, but it's not going to be another blowout like that.
I don't think so.
That's just ridiculous.
I don't see Peyton Manning getting dominated by anybody that many times, like 2 times in a row. He is one of the best quarterbacks of all time, if not the best.
Let's see. Seattle's minus 5 here, and Denver covered minus 5 in 13 of their last 14 games, excluding the Super Bowl.
Yeah, the only scary part of that is excluding the Super Bowl, which this is a rematch of.
Well, this isn't a Super Bowl. You know Peyton Manning chokes in big games.
You're right. Manning dominates the regular season, then he gets into the playoffs, and he gets all squirrely and just starts throwing the ball wherever.
Denver's run defense is ranked 10th, which is pretty good, but you got to remember, teams got to pass to keep up with Denver. And I don't know if Seattle can do that or not.
They don't throw
I
the
like
ball.
Russell Wilson, but I think they have to rely on Marshawn Lynch. So if Denver can shut down Lynch, they might have a chance to not only cover the spread, but win the game.
Yeah, they might be able to shut down Lynch. Seattle throws so many different things at you with a healthy Percy Harvin. He likes to take the ball on some end arounds, some reverses, maybe even actually line up in the backfield. He can also kill you in the return game. You know what I mean? He showed what he could do in the Super Bowl. He took a big one back against Denver. So it's not only Marshawn Lynch in the running game, if you ask me. I think Seattle uses play-action pass very well and gets Russell Wilson on the outside. And he could take the play for 5-6 yards, get out of bounds. Keep trying to chip away a little bit like that to set up play-action pass. And that might be the downfall for Denver.
Both teams are missing two big-time linebackers, Von Miller for Denver and Bruce Irving for Seattle.
So that means take the over?
Always take the over. What are you talking about?
Any Denver game you want to take the over, but every Seattle game you want to take the under. So this is the ultimate decision.
Yeah, listen, Seattle hasn't lost a home game since 2011 besides Arizona last year.
That's a good streak.
Yeah, but -5, they haven't covered that every time, obviously. But you know what? They are going to cover -5 this week.
See, I have to disagree. I think if Seattle wins, it's going to be on a last-second field goal. I could see Russell Wilson maybe taking them down the field. Denver's defense isn't great. They may be good. I think Denver's going to do everything they can to fix the mistakes they made in the Super Bowl. I don't see Peyton making them again. Like you said before, he usually chokes in any playoff game or Super Bowl game. So this being the regular season, I think it's going to be a different ball game, and Denver's either going to win this game or at least cover the spread.
So we're split on that one. I say Seattle. He says Denver.
I'm right.
No.
Yeah.
We got one more game here. We already covered this game, and it is Pittsburgh at Carolina. Carolina is -3.
Just take Carolina. We don't need to do much analysis, folks.
Yeah, if you want to hear what we think of this game, go back, listen to our Steelers preview for this week, and you will find out easily who we think is going to win this game. It's not a surprise who we think. 14-2 in their last 16 home games.
Yeah, the Steelers' defense in disarray. The Panthers' offense is not. It's not looking good for Pittsburgh down there in Carolina. They're a tough team at home.
It surprises me that Carolina's only -3 here.
Quite honestly, me too. I think they could easily be -7.
Really, if you're going to give me a pick of the week, I'm going to take Carolina here.
Yeah, it's sad to say because I'm a Steeler fan through and through, but there's no chance they win this game.
All right, so that's our 5 picks of the week.
And I just want to tell everybody today's show is brought to you by Mochar's Plumbing. If your pipes are leaking, you better be seeking Mochar Plumbing. You can reach him at 724-961-1939. That number again is 724-961-1939. You can follow us on Twitter. You can check us out on Facebook. You can check out our YouTube channel, The Spread. You can find our segments here on YouTube and Facebook now, right?
That's right.
And
check us out.
Check us out. I'll be tweeting out links so you can follow us there at bet_the spread. And everybody have a great night.